Hello everybody, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Thursday, March 24th. Going to get started with today's live stream and Q&A momentarily. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so for people to join us and we'll get started with today's live stream. All right, I see we have some people hopping on. Welcome everybody, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. We're going to get started in about 20 seconds or so. If you guys have a friend or family member or acquaintance that would like to join the stream, now's the time to share the link, and we're going to get started here in about 10 seconds, everybody. All right, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. Today is Thursday, March 24th. It's an awesome sunny day out there today. It was 20 degrees here in Edmonton yesterday. Just wild. And then went for dinner went for Japanese food. And then afterwards, it was like a windstorm. And the sand was blowing everywhere. It was insane. Dropped down to about 1 degrees overnight. So from 20 degrees to 1 degree, but sunny day out there today. Hope everyone is well. Just got back from Vegas not too long ago, and just getting back into the swing of things. In today's video, we're going to do a live stream and Q&A with regards to the short squeeze going on in pot stock land. So we'll get started here in just a moment. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. Like I said, going to do a live stream and Q&A today during today's live stream. So at the end, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A. I don't really have much to go over today in terms of news and things like that. I mean, obviously there was some news out with regards to Congress and a bill going through the House, which we'll look at here in just a moment. Before we do, make sure to smash the like, subscribe to the channel, tick the bell. I've got my Oilers jersey on, going to see the Oilers versus the Sharks tonight, so really looking forward to that. And what else is on the go? Just moving into my new condo, still moving in here, and really excited to come on and do the live stream with you guys today. Ordered gigabit internet as well, so hopefully have that set up this weekend and coming to you guys a lot more with more consistent live streams. But we will jump into today's content. Just going to share my screen. So with regards to the news today, so there was some news yesterday that there was some potential, well, there was a big deal, obviously, with Cresco and Columbia Care now going to make probably the biggest cannabis company there is to date, which was huge news. We also had earnings came out from Cresco, which was really, really good, really bullish. We also had Columbia Care earnings come out, so a lot of positive momentum just in terms of earnings. We also had the news that there could be a bill passing through the House and then Senate, we're looking at basically a huge wave of legalization coming in the couple months in the midterms, and then we also have the elections in the fall in November. But this was the article that came out today. So we had an article last night that came out, and then the article is titled "Today, U.S. Senate Unanimously Approves MJ Reform Bill on the same day that the House schedules the legalization vote." So this caught a lot of people off guard, and a lot of people are wondering what was going on. They thought there was a deal with Aurora buying Thrive Cannabis, I think it was. I made a joke. There was no way that the market cared enough about Aurora to make everything run, but it was obviously the Cresco and Columbia Care deal, and it was also this in the background. Just makes you wonder if people knew something that we didn't. But it makes sense. A lot of people were confused as to why we're rallying. Well, we knew that Chuck Schumer and I've been saying on this channel for a while now that the votes, these bills were likely going to be passing through Congress at some point in April. While a lot of people were waiting until April, not uncommon to see MJ stocks go crazy a week or two before leading up to an event. So it's probably going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. But everybody I talk to is bearish. They don't think this is going to happen. And the more people I talk to, the more I'm getting bullish, because it seems like I'd say maybe 99 people out of 100 don't think MJ is going to get passed anytime soon in federal legalization. That just tells me that it's probably a lot closer than we think. And I, for one, will not be missing the next bull run in MJ. And I think we're a lot closer. This is the type of thing where your time in the market is better than trying to time the market. And I can imagine I want to start off the stream as well by just saying, just taking a moment to address that a lot of people are very frustrated. There's a lot of retail investors that are just fed up. They've got investor fatigue and MJ stock fatigue. And you may be one of those people who are not so happy today. So if you're a bitter bear and you sold and we're going to rebuy cheaper and this came out of nowhere, don't worry, it happens. Personally, I saw a lot of people just, why is MJ running? I just sold to rebuy cheaper, and I just sold LPs to buy MSOs, and now MSOs are down. Like what was it? High Tide was also down 15% in the last week. And Sundial's up 60% in that same time period. So Sundial's up 60% and High Tide's down. What's going on? High Tide's profitable and SNDL's on the risk of delisting. Well, the reason why this happens is because when MJ is beaten down as a sector, usually the most beaten down names run the most and run the quickest and see the most percentage gains. And also what I've been saying for months now is LPs will continue to outperform until MSOs are listed on major exchanges, U.S. exchanges, so the NYSE or the NASDAQ. So a lot of people are also wondering why was U.S. MJ down? Well, New Jersey regulators balk at approving adult use MJ sales. Also heard that New Mexico may be a little bit slower with the rollout as well. We're anticipating New York rec sales as well. But yeah, this is why, right? We see. Not only that, MSOs were up today, just not as much as LPs, because the big money, institutional money, the financial institutions are playing on the NYSE and the NASDAQ, right? So that's where, we're seeing billions of dollars traded versus, tens of millions of dollars on, the CSE or the OTC. So I'm going to say this twice, until MSOs are listing on NASDAQ or the NYSE, I will have more dollar volume, more dollars invested into LPs. I'll say that again. Until U.S. MSOs are listed on U.S. major exchanges, the NYSE or the NASDAQ, my MJ portfolio will be primarily focused on LPs dollar-wise. I own more MSOs than I do LPs, but I have more money invested into LPs than I do MSOs. I also have more money invested into crypto than I do the entire MJ space at the moment. So I expect that to change over the next few months, but a lot of people are wondering, how come you're always bullish? How come you're never bearish? Because I know that we're closer to the bottom here and a macro level reversal into a bull market. We've been in a bear market since 2018, folks. This isn't MJ isn't going away, right? Anyway, I could rant on forever, but it's just experience, right? And time in the market is better than trying to time the market, especially now when we're looking for a bottom. It's been a multi-year bear market. We know that U.S. legalization, I'd rather be early to the party with a catalyst like U.S. legalization, right? The biggest catalyst that the MJ industry will ever have and has ever seen or will ever see. I'd much rather be early to the party than late, right? Let me know in the comments below if you agree. So like I said, a little bit of a New Jersey setback there in terms of rec sales. So that's a bummer. A couple people in Pow Group are also saying that it was pretty boring and just incompetent, to say the least, and I would have to agree. Also want to share this before we jump into some charting here and my thoughts and opinions. So it's great that we're seeing a short squeeze and all that stuff, but we know that we have yet to change weekly trends. We're very close to confirming weekly uptrends on some names, like Hexo is one of them. We've got a few other MSOS, the ETF and HMMJ are still a long ways away, and our leaders Tilray and CGC. So we'll look at that in just a second, what I'm looking for in terms of the technicals. But before you're one of those people who says, oh, not another comparison to Amazon, or not another comparison to the Coca-Cola or whatever, XYZ company. This is something I posted on a number of channels. So first of all, just to give you a little preface here, I posted this on my main, if you know what POW Group is, it's the pursuit of wealth, right? It's a journey. It's about health, it's about wealth, it's about crypto, it's about the future of finance, the future of health and medicine, which is MJ, just all around health and well-being, but it doesn't happen overnight, right? In order to achieve wealth, we need health and financials, right? Wealth is more than just money, it's also health. So that was the whole idea of pursuit of wealth was, it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. And the reason why I created POW Group was to help people identify where we are in a cycle and why things happen the way that they do. So why did Amazon drop over 95% after the dot-com bubble? Why does MJ drop 95% from all-time highs? Why does crypto drop 95%? Why do electric vehicles see such volatility? Why do all these disruptive industries? So before you go thinking that I'm comparing Amazon to MJ or Amazon to any particular company, just stop, okay? We're comparing one disruptive company or technology versus another disruptive company or technology, okay? Forget comparing apples to oranges or apples to apples. Forget comparing apples to oranges. We're comparing apples to apples. We're not comparing Amazon to, say, Tilray or something like that. We're comparing what happened with Amazon during its initial years to what happened now, and what's happening in Tilray during its initial years to what's going to happen. Okay, we're not, and you're probably thinking, well, this is a terrible example because Amazon sells everything under the kitchen, under the sun, the kitchen sink, and everything in between. Well, no, they didn't always sell everything in between. They sold books to begin with. But again, it's irrelevant. It's the growth curve and the adoption cycle. And I'll just bring it up here. A growth curve, technology cycle. Let's just bring this up, because this is really going to help identify where we are. So you have the emerging, you have growth, maturity, you also have the early adopters. So early adopters, this is a different cycle. So if you're investing in something, you have the innovators, well, you have the creators and the innovators, then you get the early adopters, the early majority, late majority, and the laggards, right? We're still, if we look at where we are in anything, I'm going to keep this specifically on MJ because this is the focus of the video, but we could apply this to anything. I could say that crypto is still in the early adopter phase, getting close to early majority. Maybe we're already there. We could say the same thing about MJ. MJ has been around about the same amount of time in terms of publicly traded companies. So that's why I compare the two, is because they're both nascent industries, highly emerging, disruptive industries. What is MJ disrupting? Tobacco, alcohol, pharmaceutical companies. What is the biggest sector in the world that does lobbying for U.S. government and Canadian government and governments around the world? Pharmaceutical companies. Okay, I used to work at a pharmaceutical company. Guess what they're doing now? They're pushing to MJ products, getting away from the opioids and all that stuff after the crisis, right? So we're still in this early adopter phase. So the whole point of me bringing this up, and I'll just let everybody know, I posted this in multiple crypto channels. I posted this on multiple in my POW Group private chat community, which is right here. So that's where I posted it originally, and then I figured I would share it. And those of you that don't know, for $9.99 a month or $100 a year, you can sign up for a 1-week free trial. We have cannabis, commodities, crypto, electric vehicle. I do live streams in here all the time. We've got a group of about 50 to 100 members worldwide, and we literally just talk about all these different things constantly, all day, every day. So if you want any tailored help and access to our community, you can go check out powgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com. But moving on, so I shared that in multiple groups, multiple MJ groups, multiple crypto groups, multiple electric vehicle groups, and I'll just read this. So, and remember, I'm comparing one disruptive technology in emerging market, so this was Internet 1.0, and I'm comparing it versus Internet 2.0, which is not the Internet of information, it's the Internet of value, so the Internet of money. Money 2.0. And then I also compared it to electric vehicles, and then finally MJ. But of course, everybody in MJ land was like, oh, if I hear another Amazon. So I want to just kind of debunk this a little bit real quickly here on why you see all these companies and news outlets comparing Amazon to, or any huge company. It could be Apple or Facebook or Coca-Cola. This is why, is because it's talking about the growth potential, not in terms of the share price. I don't believe any cannabis company is probably not going to hit 5,000 a share or 3,000 a share. So I'll read this real quick. Blast from the past. So just remember, Amazon dropped in 2000 and lost 95% of its value after the dot-com bubble popped. Fundamentals and numbers do not matter in a bear market, and this is a great example of that. Same vice versa with bearish news in a bull market. Amazon's stock price continued to free fall in the short term, but long term we all know the story. This happens with any new burgeoning industry and technology that is highly disruptive, i.e. tech companies, Internet 1.0, the Internet of Information, crypto, Internet 2.0, Internet of Money, electric vehicles, cannabis stocks, etc. There's a lot more than that. I just named a few. Speculation matters the most in the short term, but long term we will see the fundamentals play more of a factor. So a lot of people are wondering, why is high tide down 15% in the last week, and SNDL's up 60% in the last week in that same period, when they're profitable and high tide's in a way better financial position? It's because fundamentals don't matter. Why are meme coins doing what they're doing in crypto? Because fundamentals don't matter. It's speculation. And why is it speculation? Because the market cap is so low. It's easy to move it. Why doesn't Amazon move 20% or 30% like MJ stocks did today? Because it's a huge market cap, right? In order for it to go up 20%, it has to add $200 billion or so to its market cap. That's a lot of money, right? Whereas if MJ stocks are only valued at 20 million or 200 million market cap, well, it barely needs any money at all to see any percentage gains. That is why. So this is because of the massive hype and euphoric moments followed by max fear. Market makers intentionally do this to shake out the weak hands, to pawn off their expensive shares on the way up to retail in order to maximize their profits and gains on the way up, and then they short it on the way back down. Rinse, repeat, and retail usually always loses because they get emotional and they like to feel good about something. So when somebody's buying something, like simple as this, buy MJ when everybody hates it, which is right now, and wait. That's the hardest part for most people, just waiting. So simple. It's the easiest thing to do. Just wait. Just don't look at it. Just wait. Don't listen to the talking heads, what the media is saying. Oh, lost this, bankruptcy that, whatever. Reverse split, whatever. We all know that MJ isn't going away. And this is what the media does right before we start to see the market take off. And wouldn't you know it, the market starts to take off again, right? So, yeah. Again, getting off in a tangent here. But I'm going to try to go through this a little quicker here. So they just pawn that off, right? And what's you need to remember here is when you buy low, you wait, and then when everybody loves MJ stocks again, whenever you see comments on my videos or online saying, this stock's going to 100, that's when it's probably time to take some profit. But now everybody hates MJ. That's the time to buy. That's your signal. Like, it doesn't get any more complicated than that. So just remember, there's always more to a company or a stock than just looking at the current share price. Time in the market is usually better than timing the market, especially in a high growth and speculative market, especially near the bottom of a 2-year bear market where we know a bull cycle's on the reverse. So again, I'm not comparing Amazon to MJ. I'm comparing Amazon to crypto. I'm comparing it to early tech companies. I'm comparing it to MJ. I'm comparing it to all of those sectors, right? And you can just read this on your own time, but essentially this is a blast from the past in Y2K. So ouch, what a brutal year if you take a look at the charts back on Amazon. Let's just bring it up for fun because this happened, right? And how many investors were losing their mind and the media was telling them, and the media was just pumping them full of FUD and stuff, right? All these companies are going to zero. So yeah, here in 1999, we had a high of 113. And we dropped over 95%, okay? Now imagine how many people were freaking out. This is just the beginning of the internet, right? No one knew what companies, was Amazon the first company to ever exist? No. So does that mean the first MJ company or the first crypto is gonna win? No, not necessarily. Dial-up didn't win either. But then look what happened, right? We went on to create gains of a lifetime. So if you just bought that dip anywhere around that low and just dollar cost average, that's 600, let me just make sure I get this right, 65,000%, 65,530%, okay? So how many people are worried about that 95% drop? Again, I'm not looking at the share price and saying MJ is going to 3,000 or $1 trillion in market cap, okay? Bitcoin could easily hit 50 trillion and could be worth, 50 Amazons, right? That's possible. If it becomes the digital store of value, if you look at Amazon over the last 10 years, so let's go back to, what are we, 2022. So let's go back to the somewhere around here, around the beginning of 2022. How much are we up? We're up about 20x, a little under, about 16 to 18x. How much is Bitcoin up in the last 10 years? And again, why? Because the market cap was so low. It started at 0, and then it went to $1 million. And then, in order for Bitcoin to double, and only another $1 million had to enter the market, right? But now that there's $1 trillion in Bitcoin's market cap, just like Amazon, it takes a lot more money to move it. That's why I'm not focused on it. But again, this is an MJ video, but it's important because people and trolls on the internet just really don't understand. So I really wanted to come and hit this home. So 2012, let's look at the beginning of 2012. How much is Bitcoin up? Oh man, 1.7 million%, okay? So again, the reason why I bring that up and compare that is because we could see the same amount of percentage gains in MJ. It doesn't mean, let's just bring up High Tide, for example, because everybody loves High Tide, and so do I. I just recently bought my first purchase of High Tide a couple of days ago, and now I'm flipping bullish on retailers. I've been extremely bearish on retailers for a long time, but you can check out my recent High Tide video. I explain why I'm bullish on retailers. But let's just look, right? High Tide was at 65 cents, okay? So obviously, High Tide isn't going to hit $1 trillion anytime soon market cap. It's probably not going to have a 1.7 million% gains. All right, but what if it just did an Amazon, what Amazon just did in the last 10 years, 20x? 20x is easily doable. Okay, so from 65 cents to even just $100, let's say, if High Tide ever hits $100, that would be 17,000%. Okay, just to hit $100 off of that low back on March 2020. I'm not saying it's going to hit 3,000. I'm not saying it's going to hit $1 trillion. I'm talking about the growth curve and the adoption cycle and where we are in the cycle. We're still so early that we're going to see these, $50 to $100 stock prices. I mean, look at Tilray. Tilray, after it IPO'd and then just recently last year hit a high of about $67, and then it hit a high of $300. So it's entirely possible. There's going to be MJ companies that end up being hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars market cap, right? And now is the time to start loading the boat. So again, going to end it there in terms of that rant. If you disagree with me, by all means, let's have a conversation about it. I just can't stand when people just say, oh, if I see another Amazon comparison, it's like, okay, well, tell me why you don't want to see another Amazon comparison. Don't just say, please, for the love of God, never again. It's like, well, no, there's a reason behind it that people are mentioning it. There's a reason why I'm saying it. A lot of other reputable investors and successful, investors and news companies are talking about it is because it is relevant. I've lived through MJ. I've lived through crypto. I've been investing for over 10 years now. Believe me, it's very, very relevant. So yeah, going to end it there. But I'll just take a quick look here in terms of what I'm looking at in terms of the technicals. But yeah, if you disagree with me, put it in the chat and tell me why. If you agree with me, great. Let me know and tell me why you agree with me. We don't have to agree on everything, but again, we can get to the most reasonable conclusion by just having thoughtful discourse. So HMMJ, I mentioned earlier, still a long ways to go before we see, and if anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat there now. I'm getting to the Q&A here in just a moment. So the weekly time frame. So the reason why I said bulls prove absolutely nothing is because we are still in a weekly downtrend. So if we break resistance here at 605 on HMMJ, the ETF, that's going to negate the weekly downtrend. That will confirm a break of that resistance will negate it rather. So we'll no longer be in a weekly downtrend. But we're still a ways away before we see any weekly trend change. This move's all coming off the low. So once we do top out here on the weekly time frame, we'll know that is the case once we lose the daily uptrend. So once we do top out on the weekly time frame, we need to come back down, form a higher low and a higher high. We know 20% in a day. What are we up here? SNDL, Tilray, TGOD, Hexo all up double digits, 13, 23%. I don't care about 20%. I'm not selling anytime soon, right? The reason is because we're nearing a bottom, right? We're nearing a multi-year bear market going into what I believe a multi-year bull market. I'm certainly not looking to take any profit anytime soon. I've been loading the boat and I've just been dollar cost averaging. Why do I dollar cost average? Because nobody knows. A lot of people thought back here it was going to start to reverse, and then here, and then we dropped to a new lower low, and then we're starting to finally see some more momentum. But the thing to remember is we're starting to see these pretty large gaps and jumps. So if you look back here, 22% off the low, almost 20%. Here we are up 22% off the low again. So we're starting to see more buying pressure and a lot more bullish, just overall market reaction to these lows, and a lot of bulls are buying the dip. Personally, I'm very aggressive, and I don't need this money. Like I said, I have more money invested in crypto, and I'm just dollar cost averaging. I still got a ton of cash in case we drop to new lower lows and new 52-week lows. I did a poll on my YouTube as well as the bottom in, and I think 85% of the people said it was, so you can check that out on the community tab. But we are confirming the daily bull flag here on HMMJ and daily uptrend. But again, we know bulls prove absolutely nothing until weekly uptrends are confirmed. So like I said, 20% is great, but we need to top out, change the weekly trend, and then after we change the weekly trend, we confirm that uptrend on the weekly, then we zoom out to the monthly bounce will begin. So in order for the monthly bounce to begin on HMMJ, the ETF, we need to break 605. We break 605, we got a lack of resistance all the way up to 883, and then after that, 1153. So like I said, once we confirm weekly uptrends, we zoom out to the monthly bounce will be underway, and then we look for a monthly higher low and higher high and a monthly uptrend. That will confirm that we are absolutely 110% in a bull market and would likely last multiple years. And I think we could see all-time highs across the whole sector, especially if we see U.S. legalization. And again, touching on that real quick, I think that we're going to get the announcement this year. I don't think we're going to get U.S. legalization this year. I think we're going to get the announcement. So maybe sometime toward the end, we see progress start to pick up now, maybe a little bit of a summer lull, and then into the spring and fall. Sorry, not spring. Into the spring, we see what I just mentioned, and then into the fall, we see the elections in November, and then we see potentially a date released on when legalization is going to take effect. And then I think we could legalize federally at some point in 2023, and then it'll probably be a buy the rumor, sell the news, and then we'll see in 2024, we'll likely see a bear market, similar to what happened in the Canadian market. So if we just go back to what happened in Canada, we'll just bring up CGC because it's easier to chart. So you can see here we ran up into legalization. So like I said, it was by the rumor, right, for 2 years, and then into 2018, into October when we legalized, what happened? That's exactly when we topped out. We formed a monthly lower high and then a monthly downtrend. What happens when we confirm monthly uptrends? Bull cycle confirmed. What happens when we confirm monthly downtrends? Bear market confirmed, right? And likely expect years of pullback, and that's exactly what happened. So if we have a blueprint, so if we're anything reminiscent of what happened in Canada, I would say we're probably here. So maybe 2016, 2015, somewhere around there was when we bottomed out, and we're starting to bounce back. And then I think we could see some point over the next year, we see legalization news, so the announcement, and then some point in late 2023, maybe early 2024, we get to go live. And then in 2024, 2025, we see a bear market. And that lines up well with a crypto inverse relationship, right? I think tech companies, we know Bitcoin has been correlated to the NASDAQ. We know that NASDAQ and Bitcoin and all crypto has basically hit their 4.618 Fibonacci extension levels. So that would tell me that we're likely going to enter a bear market in tech and the broader market over in crypto over the next couple years, and that will give room for MJ to shine, and then MJ will likely consolidate into a bear market whenever crypto enters back into a bull market. Bitcoin happening as well in 2024, yep. So the supply gets cut in half for each mined block. So the miners get half the reward each time they mine. So I really think that's likely what we're going to have play out. And just look at these monthly charts. We have absolutely no resistance on some of these names. Hexo, like no resistance, right? Hexo has literally no resistance on the monthly all the way up to 755. So if you were buying near the lows there at 46 cents, again, not financial advice, this is just for entertainment purposes only, just to get back to previous monthly resistance is 15x. It's insane, right? But many people are saying, oh, $690 million loss, and not realizing that 616, so really only a $74 million loss, not realizing that most of that was goodwill from Redecan. Before that, it was bankruptcy. But I'm in so many groups, guys, and I see the same thing. Tilray, you get so many bashes and haters in there. Oh, how come the share price is so low? And even people in high tide are starting to get a little frustrated. But again, so many people are flabbergasted as to why their MJ stock is down. Well, High Tide's actually not down as much as some of our other names. Some of our names are down 90% from February high. High Tide's only down 72. So again, why is High Tide down in the last week 15%? Almost, when SNDL is up, what, 16% and 60% in a week? Yes, over 60% in a week, right? It's because it was beaten down, and High Tide was only down 70% from its February high. How much was SNDL down? 90%, right? So the more beaten down names run first, right? That's why I was focused on LPs, buying LPs, and that's why I just bought High Tide the other day, right? And I only entered one order. I'll buy it again if we see more downside. And we also had a daily bear flag on watch as well, but it looks to be negated here on High Tide. So going to end it there, MSOS, just taking a look at it, it's a daily bull flag and confirming the daily uptrend, but we had a pretty nasty pullback and reversal there. But we're still holding EMA 12 here on the daily, and anything above 1981 is a daily bull flag. And if we take the measured move of that bull flag, if we do confirm, we'd be targeting that 2375 area. So again, technical analysis is just a way of calculating odds and probabilities. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but we know that daily uptrends are great, but we need weekly uptrends, and we're still in a weekly downtrend on MSOS, so a lot of work to do. The burden of proof right now is on the bulls, but bears are still in full control, and they prove absolutely nothing. We could see a type of inverse head and shoulders here on MSOS as well. That's entirely possible that we see something like this, where we come back up and form an inverse head and shoulders because of how far we have to run just to break the weekly downtrend. We have to run another 25%. So what the most likely scenario is we top out somewhere here, and then we form a higher low and then attempt a weekly trend change. And then again, that's just one step. We zoom out, monthly bounce will be underway, and then we look for a monthly trend change. And let's just look at the investor psychology cycle, Wall Street cheat sheet. So if you haven't seen this, this is MJ, okay? Like, what does that chart right there look like? Why isn't it loading? Can't wait to get my gigabit internet on Saturday. So yeah, this chart right here is the investor psychology, right? And most people only feel good about the investment when they're here and it's running up. And then they have complacency. Oh, I'm a long-term holder now, you know? And then they're like, oh, anxiety. Is this going to get worse? Denial. No, we're fine. We're going to bounce soon. And then they panic. And then they get emotional. And then they capitulate. Then they get angry and say, oh, is this the government's fault? I love that. Then they get depressed. And then they're in disbelief, right? And no, this is just another pump and dump. There's no way MJ's all going to zero, right? But let's look at this chart. What's that chart look like? Where it goes from the high, low, high, all the way down to a lower low? Man, is that not MSOS? Low, high, all the way down to a lower low, big mountain and gives it back and then some. Big mountain and gives it back and then some. So I think we're like right here, depression and getting into disbelief. Let me know in the comments, where do you think we are? Weekly time frame, MSOS, still lots of work to do, still not even above the 10-week moving average at 2117. If we close over that this week, that will be notable. And HMMJ, ETF on the weekly time frame as well, a little bit stronger. So again, why am I focused on LPs? NYSE, NASDAQ, access to major US exchanges and dollar volume. The more whales that play in a sector or in an exchange or in a particular stock, if I can't trade on the NYSE or the NASDAQ, I'm going to have at least 10% of the capital that I would have normally, right? That's just the way it is. And that's why today If we take a look, and the New Jersey news obviously hurt, but like, look at this, right? Cura down almost 5%. People just pulling their hair out, not able to figure it out. But again, MedMen, 30% gains. Again, why? Why aren't we seeing any tier ones here with 10% gains when most of this news is US driven, right? Why are the MJ LPs up 23 and 21? And why are the garbage companies that everybody says the garbage companies, Hexo and Sundial and Tilray, Sundial at risk of delisting before Hexo, and it's up more than Hexo, right? It's because the more they're beaten down, the less money in market cap, the less dollar volume it takes to move it, right? So same thing is true for MedMen, right? Tiny market cap, beaten down the most, it's up the most. It's so simple. And if you don't understand, consider joining our private chat community. You'll have access to all this 24/7, 365. All right, going to end it there. Going to end it there. See if there's anything else I wanted to mention before we get into Q&A. No, that's pretty much it. All right, so as you can see, we got the MJ themed background here. So let's jump into some questions. I see we have quite a few people still joining us as well. Over 30 people. So if you're still here after over 30 minutes, you're an absolute boss. Conrad, how you doing, man? Love the new backdrop, just not the jersey. Yeah. Hate is gonna hate. It's fine. I love Calgary too. It's fine. All boats rise together. Remember that. No tribalism. Same in MJ. Same in crypto. We want all boats to rise together, right? I'm just yanking your chain. Iki Augustine. Is Stephen Bernard Halterbeck? I found him on CNBC interview where he was featured and reached out to him afterwards. He has been immense help since then. You sound like a bot. So I'm not going to answer that. Jellybean. Hey, everybody. Hey. Claudio. Hi, Rod. Do you think we will ever get to more than $5 because Tilray will buy us out before we get there? You're talking about Hexo? Yeah, I could easily see $5 again on Hexo. Easily, yeah. That like we were just at $11. Imagine if the U.S. legalizes, we see CPG partner news at some point, and that's another thing too, right? They were probably waiting for exactly this time, which I've been saying for a year now, almost a year it feels like, that probably going to see Hexo wait to release good news, or any of these other companies, right? We're starting to see these mega mergers come out right around the bottom, right around April, where we were supposed to see movement in Congress as well. And why? It's because it'd be all for nothing, right? Why release good news when the whole market landscape is in a bear market, right? So now that we're starting to see this is going to open the way for a lot more positive news. We're going to see more mega mergers, I think. Not like blue chip phase yet. I think we're still in the focus phase. Phase 3, but we're sort of moving into that phase 4 where we're going to see like mega mergers where we see maybe like an MSO and an LP. I still think we're a couple years away from that though. But now's the time where we're probably going to start seeing partnerships, new deals, companies getting into the space. Like we know Jones Soda released Mary Jones soda, and Monster is rumored to be looking to get into the space. So if Monster is competing with Jones Soda, and who else competes with soda? Coca-Cola, Pepsi. We know Pepsi trialed Rockstar Hemp. Let me just bring that up actually. Share my screen here. So Pow Group, Rockstar, Pepsi. When was that? Yeah, so I did a video 11 months ago. PepsiCo launches Rockstar Energy plus hemp in Germany. Will Coca-Cola follow? And then, yeah, we have Mary Jones Soda. So it's called game theory, right? Once one falls, they all fall. But yeah, Jones Soda, the original craft, first MJ products under new Mary Jones brand. All right, so how long before the rest follow? And we even were told by John Boehner, the previous U.S. representative in the House or the Senate, I believe it was, he said that Coca-Cola is looking into cannabis-infused beverages. So it's just a matter of time. We know Kellogg's is probably going to be partnered with Hexo, and once they all start to go, they all go, right? So it's just a matter of time, and if U.S. legalization picks up between then, $5 on Hexo is going to look like a walk in the park. Oh yeah, you did say Hexo after. Yeah, I see that now. Thank you. I was wondering, Bill Clemens, how you doing, man? I was wondering if you were going to do a video. Thanks for all you do. You've definitely kept me grounded. Yeah, you bet. Well, I've been there, right? I've been in crypto. All the MJ people and capitulators and haters and bashers and emotional beings. It was the same in crypto 2 years ago. So it's like literally, why do you think I compared Amazon to crypto and to MJ? And people are like, brain explode. Why is another Amazon comparison? And you're like, because it's the same. It's emotions. All charts tell us is how people are feeling. And and as simple as that, whenever anyone you talk to online, just go to Reddit and everybody's like, oh, the share price. Well, but what about the share price? Bullish news comes out, it's listed on there. And they're like, but what about the share price? Buy. Simply, not financial advice, of course. And then wait. And then when you go on Reddit in a couple months or a year or whatever, and everybody's like, this bought stock to 100, it's probably time to start selling. Or when, your brother and friend that never ever interested in stocks, in their lifetime start asking you how to buy MJ or what MJ to buy, that's probably a good sign too. So yeah, I've seen it all with crypto. I've seen it all with tech stocks. I've seen it with electric vehicles. I was shouting from the rooftop at buy Tesla a couple years ago before the huge run out. No one wanted it, right? Everybody and their dog was saying they're going bankrupt, and CNBC was saying they don't make any money. They make less cars in a month than Toyota makes in a year. And I'm like, okay, then believe what you want. I don't listen to CNBC. I basically do the opposite. And lo and behold, my Tesla purchase was great. I used that to buy a lot of crypto, and I exited all of my Bitcoin and Ethereum last year around this time, and now I'm focusing on XRP, XLM, and Litecoin and Link. I own more crypto than I do MJ currently. Over the next few months, I expect to take profits in alt season, move those, and I'll still retain about 10 to 20%. I'll sell 80 to 90% of my crypto, buy more beaten down MJ, and I'll short the S&P 500 long term, and then I'll look to flip it. Do it all again. Sell MJ in a year or two when we're at 4.618 extensions and breaking to new higher highs and price discoveries. I have a short-term account, MJ, and a long-term. My long-term, I'm not selling it until the US legalizes. That run-up that I showed you. I only log in to buy, and I buy new lows, and I use the dollar cost averaging. I also have my swing trade account where I'll add on a support, or I'm probably going to sell and look to take profit here in the next couple of months. And then maybe we see a summer lull, and then into the fall we see more of an MJ pick back up, and then in my short-term account I'll buy it back again after the summertime, right? But I'll always have my long-term portfolio. That will never change until the US legalizes. I have my plan. I don't look at a headline and then change my plan and say, they have a loss or they're going bankrupt. It's like, no, there's more to it than that. It was like Hexo. They were saying they were going bankrupt. I did a video. You can check that out. It's Hexo going bankrupt. I gave like 5 options before to even, and one of the options wasn't even considered. That happened was Tilray financially partnered with them, and no one saw that coming, right? But I mean, I said for months now that Irwin sounds like the new SSL. He's talking about CPGs and beverages and all that stuff. So it makes sense. So yeah, I've seen it all before. Nothing surprises me anymore, and I'm just in good spirits, man. I'm happy to be healthy. I'm happy to be, I'm so grateful for all the stuff that I've learned. And yeah, there's a lot of trolls, but you got to kill them with kindness. I shared this in the community today. Share my screen here. You're never too important to be nice to people. I found that was spot on. And so many people just, because you're not talking about the stock they like, they're just so cutthroat, and you have so much tribalism in MJ. We need to stop that. It's starting to end in crypto, thank God, right? Like, thankfully, that's not good for anybody. And MJ needs to stop that as well, people. But it's emotional people, right? It's like, I just turn a blind eye to it. Good question, Jellybean says. Yep. We will get Tilray shares for our Hexo shares. Your thoughts, please. I'm still not sold on the idea that Tilray and Hexo are going to merge yet. It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, I don't think it's going to happen for a couple of years, maybe a year or two. Tilray already said multiple times that they would rather pay a higher price for Hexo, and they already got their skin in the game, right? They have, every time Hexo goes up $1, Tilray is going to make about $200 million. Plus, they make $20 million worth of interest payments. And it's not good. Again, it's not good for anybody in the company. If a major tier one company that was worth over $1 billion at one point in market cap goes to zero, that's not good for the sector, right? That's like, wake up, people. So yeah, it's not good. And Tilray also stated that a lot of the issues that people are having is because of the Canadian government. So it was kind of like a flip the bird to the government, and we're going to come in and save Hexo and then a couple days later, the Canadian government increases the drink limit from 5 to 48 drinks. It's like, is Hexo being handcuffed? Like, what's going on? Are people conspiring against them? And then Tilray is just like, no, not having it. And then like Tilray basically came in and then said everything that I've been saying for the last however many months. And then I get all this hate for it. And then Tilray comes in and says, oh, like there's so many brands and things to be excited and the share price appreciation of Hexo. And then everybody in Tilray is like, ah. Like now they listen. And I'm like, okay, well, you could have bought Hexo when it was at 46 cents USD. Now it's at almost 80 cents and it's almost up 100%. So again, there's nothing wrong with buying higher. Some people have a strategy. They buy high, sell higher. I like to buy high, sell high, right? If you want to get 10x to 100x gains, you can't do that by waiting until you feel good about buying it. Generally, in order to get these massive returns, you need to be scared shitless, pardon my French, when you go to buy it, or you should be if you're new. Me, I don't feel emotions anymore. I just buy when we're low, and simple as that. I wait. I day trade the odd time, but personally, I don't enjoy day trading. It's, you're competing with bots and algos, and they're only getting smarter, and humans basically going the opposite way, relying more on robots. So, you have all these day trading channels, and who wants to be stuck behind the screen? The second I leave here, I'm going downtown, I'm going to see the game, going to get food, whatever I want to do, right? I'm not stuck behind a screen, trading crypto 24/7 or glued to the screen. I travel all the time. I check in when I want to, right? And my strategy is just very simple. A lot of people overcomplicate things. If we own Hexo, we get free Tilray stocks. It's not free. You would get a ratio. So if, let's say hypothetically they do merge, your Tilray shares, it's the same thing that happened with Afria and Tilray, right? So it's already happened multiple times. So you just get a ratio. Same thing happened with Hexo and Cannabis. 48 North, right? You just, for every one Hexo share, you get X amount of Tilray shares, right? And because Hexo is worth a lot less, you'd get less Tilray shares for your Hexo shares, right? Because they're worth less. It takes more dollar volume worth of Hexo shares to match that of a Tilray share. Assuming, Hexo doesn't pull a god candle and somehow pass the share price of Tilray. It's, again, so many people get caught up and overcomplicate things. We don't need to overcomplicate. Those are things that you can't control. Those are things that we'll figure out when the time comes. What you need to figure out, and what we all need to figure out, is a plan. What's our plan now? The only thing that matters is today, right now, right? This live stream. The only thing that matters in all of MJ, if you're interested in MJ, is developing a plan. Don't buy and then develop a plan later, because then you're going to sell on emotions. You're going to see a headline. Remember when they said if you own MJ stocks, you wouldn't be able to travel to the U.S.? Okay, yeah. Let me sell log in. I can't log in quick enough. I got to sell my MJ stocks. Like, no. Like, obviously that was FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? It's such a dirty game. What we need to do now is, well, you don't have to do what I'm doing, because this isn't financial advice, for entertainment purposes only, but what I'm doing, you can choose to do what I'm doing. I have an account, long-term, and this is very similar to what I do in crypto as well. I have cash. I have about, let's say I'm going to invest $10,000. I'd keep $1,000 or $2,000 in cash, and then and let's say we're talking about crypto. I'd probably only buy a few cryptos, because I'm only investing $10,000. If I'm investing $100,000, I'd probably buy 10 to 20 cryptos, and then I'd keep a little bit more cash, right? Maybe 25% cash of that 100,000. So let's say we're buying MJ, which we are right now in a bear market, and if you're a long-term investor, now is a prime time to be buying, in my opinion. Not financial advice. So if you have $100,000 or $10,000, maybe you're only going to buy 5 to 10 stocks. If you're going to invest $100,000, maybe you're going to buy 10 to 20 stocks. So my dad invested $20,000 a few months ago. Looking pretty good now, isn't he? He bought, in total, 10 stocks. 5 MSOs, 1 ETF, 5 LPs, 1 ETF. You get a mix of picks and shovels in there, retailers, which are not licensed producers, or MSOs. Like High Tide, for example, is a retailer, not a licensed producer. So you get those in your portfolio as well. And you just hold, right? My dad's simple. He doesn't log in, he doesn't check it. He bought it when it was low, and he's going to wait until US legalizes. And then when it's worth 100 grand or 200 grand, maybe think about selling, or maybe take some profit, right? Or maybe when it's worth 50 grand, take out your original 20,000. That's the thing too, right? A lot of people, they bought and they held through the last bull cycle, and they're like, well, now they're really, really underwater or really sour. Well, did you take out your initial investment? No, I had the moon blinders on, right? And it's like, well, lesson learned for next time, right? I lost all of my money when I first started investing in MJ. I caught the MJ bull run in Canada. I made a lot of money on the run up in Canadian legalization, and then I lost it all because I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I learned a lot through that, and then I learned a lot through the crypto bear market, and now I'm living through the crypto bull market, the everything bubble. I also had real estate. I bought 2 properties in the East Coast 7 years ago. And then I sold, and it was up over 100% from where I bought it. A property, a house in 5 years, up over 100%, right? Like, again, guys, it's possible. You just have to believe and work towards every day. Pursuit of wealth, it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight, right? The more eggs you have in the basket, but don't over diversify. I have real estate now. I just bought a condo. I sold high in the East Coast. Edmonton, you can buy a condo for like 80 to 100K. $100,000 get you a condo downtown. Look into it. Now's the time, right? But I guarantee you, in 5 to 10 years, people in the western coast of Canada are like, oh, why didn't I buy property, right? Again, when things are cool and hip and everybody's talking about it, that's the opportunity's probably come and gone, right? You want to get in before the masses, and you don't want to be listening to Jim Cramer and CNBC, and it's just hard on the head. It's almost illegal what these guys are doing, the Wall Street crooks. Okay, I'm going to speed this up here. Planet 13. Yeah, they just opened a location in Florida. Let's take a look real quick. It was a daily bear flag, though, I think. Oh, yeah, no longer a daily bear flag. Yep, last 3 days it's been on a tear. So up about 40% off the lows. Yeah, great long-term entry in my opinion. I'm just a little concerned. Still in a weekly downtrend though, so very correlated to MSOS. So if you're wondering about your name, like Planet 13, it's all the same. Weekly downtrends. If just go back in this video to where I covered MSOS, it's all the same. We're just looking for weekly trend changes. So if you're wondering when your stock's going to do something, don't just stop looking at Planet 13 or Hexo or whatever, and just look at MSOS and HMMJ. Once they confirm weekly uptrends and monthly bounces are underway, then we can expect the whole sector to reverse, right? But to just get caught up in the day-to-day stuff, not really a whole lot of point in it. And like I said, not really much to cover, but watch resistance there at $3.67. We could be seeing, let's just look out on the weekly time frame. Yeah, similar type of deal. We could be seeing a type of inverse head and shoulders based on how far we are to resistance, similar to MSOS. Also watch EMA 2012 rather. So we had the 52-week high there at February 2021. We lost that EMA. We were trying to confirm support. Oh, and look at this too. Wow. We had a pennant turned into a descending triangle. Take the measured move of that. That took us down here to about 430. Look where we hit. We bounced, and then from that low, we basically hit that target, and then we bounced 30% thereabouts, and then the next support was down at 348. That's pretty much where we found the bottom. Where was it? Just about $3. We bounced again. Then we had a lack of support all the way down here to $1.96. So once we lost that support again, it was just weekly downtrend, right? We lost EMA 12, descending triangle, we hit that target, and we continued to break down, and that was because all of US MJ was trending down, right? Now down about 75, over 75%. So now we have to start wondering, okay, when are things going to start reversing? Well, we want to see a weekly candle close over EMA 12, that yellow line. That'll be the first time since the 52-week highs, and the first time closing above it since July of last year, almost a full year. And then we were in a monthly and weekly downtrend, and now we're just anticipating a weekly lower high really until $4.29. So we could jump another 25% from here and just be looking for a weekly lower high and still in a weekly downtrend. So I'd be cautious. We could see a bit more follow through. We could run to about $3.50, $4, and then maybe an inverse head and shoulders pull back for a weekly higher low. We know bulls prove absolutely nothing until we form that weekly higher low and a weekly trend change. Then we zoom out, look at the monthly bounce, and we look for a monthly trend change. I just realized I wasn't sharing my screen with you that entire time. Sorry about that. Anyway, you get the idea, but in effort of time, I'm going to move on. We need to be cautious here too, though. Monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross lining up here on the EMAs. But they would have crossed bear us actually on that lower wick, so questioning how much more downside we're really going to see from here. But if you're wondering why a lot of these names were down, it's just because the whole sector was down 80 to 90% in Canada, and then the US sectors just followed suit, basically went into a year bear market just like MJ, Canadian MJ, and here we are down about 75%, almost 80% now. So just questioning how much more downside we're really going to see from here. Definitely a great idea to be loading up on Planet 13 and just dollar cost averaging. If you're looking for a bullish entry now, we're still not daily overbought. So like I said, we could run to about $3.50, $4. We do have support to be watching, key support at 292, and then after that down at 240. Yeah, you could enter with a stop below that low here at 292. You could sell a little bit towards resistance and then look to reload cheaper for a daily higher low, which we know is likely coming at some point. We also have earnings coming up on March 28th, tentative. You'll have to, I never seen official confirmation from Planet 13, but have to look at that. So just be wary of that, that turbulence. Hexo at $10. What's going on with my chat here? Hexo at $10. That what I won't want. I think that's what you want. Yeah, Hexo at $10. Yeah, and there's people in our group, PAL group community, that have. I think one member has over 100,000 shares of Hexo. So, what's 100,000 shares of Hexo at $10 equal? Bring out the calculator. And let's just say he didn't invest that much either. I'd love to see Hexo bounce back to 10. Who wouldn't? Been scooping up at these lows entry points. Yeah, you bet. Nice dip buying, TAACD. I'm not sure if I'm saying that handle correctly, but moving on. Jelly Bean, I understand what you said about buying the news before legalization and what we are now. Yeah, and I mean, it's funny that we were all expecting the legalization news to drop in April, and then 2 weeks before April, they run it, right? So it's a buy the rumor, sell the news. And again, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I think people are finally starting to wake up to that, and that makes me happy and excited, Jelly Bean, that you're finally starting to hit home, because I'm not a lot of people can understand it. Because of emotions, right? And that we are now about 2016 on the chart. If everyone knows this, why is volume not that high? Is everyone in BTC? Yeah, again, we need crypto. If we look back, MJ didn't really run until crypto stopped running, and the reason for that is because you can't easily switch from your MJ to crypto, right? You have to like sell it on an exchange or move it from a hardware wallet to an exchange, and then you have to take it from the exchange to your bank account. Then you have to take your bank account to your trading platform. Maybe that's in your bank, or maybe it's Questrade, which is an official sponsor of PAL Group. You can check out the link below as well for a link to Questrade. But maybe you cash out and you take money into your bank account, say TD, and then you got to transfer it over to Questrade to buy stocks, right? That's a lot of friction, and it take multiple days, right? But once we can buy crypto in our regular stock brokerage accounts. You can now in like Wealth Simple, but you couldn't always, right? We're finally, they only had like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and now we've got all these different altcoins. So it's getting easier and easier. I would say next bull cycle, we're going to start to see that correlation break, where we're not going to see them run opposite of one another because of that ease of access and money flow. But great question. But yeah, I do think that's why, because tech stocks and crypto are still bouncing. The S&P 500 is confirming a daily bull flag, I think it was, very close to. And Tesla, I called out, it was on monthly support. Great entry around $700. Here we are back over $1,000. So until we start to see tech and crypto start to top out, MJ is probably just going to hover around. But what I could likely see is, we see the FOMO. We're going to see the FOMO. Well, we're already seeing it, right? Case in point, SNDL. I'm going to try and remember to share my screen here again. So SNDL, like, look at this, right? Off the low. How much are we up off the absolute local low here? Over 70%. So, and look at that volume. That's what we want to see, is volume, right? We do have earnings coming up. We are daily overbought as well. But SNDL definitely due for a pullback. It's likely going to be a daily inside bar tomorrow and tightening range based on the size of that range. The range we're looking at here is about 20%. Huge, right? So I could easily see, an inside bar tomorrow. We come up, we tighten up, and then maybe we see into Monday and Tuesday, we see daily consolidation form a higher low around 60, 65 cents. And then we come up and change the daily trend, because we're still not even in a daily uptrend yet. This moves all coming off the lows. So SNDL, but that's what happens, right? When people, you're kind of asking, why isn't things moving? Well, they kind of is moving, right? SNDL just jumped almost 100% in a week. That's huge, right? And then just not giving any opportunities for people to load up either, right? And then you get that FOMO. How many people FOMO'd in today when we were up 10%, 20%, and then we're probably going to see a gap up tomorrow or something at like 80 cents and then pull back like 10 or 20%, right? And then they'll get stopped out, they'll get frustrated, and then, if you're looking for entries right now, like, you're just waiting for daily higher lows and weekly higher lows, because we still have to change those weekly trend changes, right? So if we know that weekly, oh wow, actually SNDL did change the weekly trend. That's why we're seeing SNDL such a huge bull move right here. Look, low at 40 cents, high of the bounce at 66 cents, higher low here at 45 cents, and higher high. So as soon as it broke 66 cents resistance, we confirmed the weekly uptrend. So that's good. That's what we want to see. Now we need to see all names do the same thing. Now let's look at Hexo on the weekly time frame. Very close to changing the weekly trend. Oh, look at that. It's up to 80 cents here after hours, up 16%. That's pretty cool. Gotta love it. Weekly uptrend confirmed on Hexo. First time since, well, we'll just go from when we lost it. When did we lose the weekly uptrend? We confirmed a weekly downtrend here mid-April 2021. So it's been 343 days since we confirmed a weekly, since we changed a weekly trend. And no resistance on Hexo on the weekly until $1.88. Fun fact. Tilray, nowhere near changing its weekly trend, but 8:30 up 20% after hours. Oh man, it's a fun game, fun. If we're not having fun, what's the point? All right, great question though. Love that, Jelly Bean. You're asking all the right questions. You're going to be very, very successful. I can smell it. Connor, go Leafs, go! Yeah. Used to be my favorite team, then I moved to Edmonton. Sorry, I like Edmonton. Connor McDavid, the modern day Gretzky. He has my heart. I'm sold. All right, BMMJ. Yeah, so again, news of New Jersey and all that stuff kind of stalling things out. I did add BAM back to my long-term portfolio, but this is one of those names, right, where it's beaten down so much that it's probably going to explode. We usually see the tier one names run first, though, right? So once we start to see SNDL and some of our other tier one names run, CGC, Tilray, and then we have Curaleaf and Trulieve. Once they all start to run, usually after they see a pretty big move and then consolidate and pull back, we start to see the lower names. But MedMen, just because of how low it is, and the small market cap, no wonder it was up 30% today. But CXXI, 9%, and BAM, those two are pretty much hand-in-hand trading. They usually see the same amount of percentage gains usually. But yeah, BAM still in a daily downtrend, and pretty much the same, right? Weekly bounce hasn't even started yet. We need to break 30 cents to start the weekly bounce, and then we have to top out on the weekly time frame, then come down, change the weekly trend with a higher low and higher high. So still lots of work to do. I wouldn't hold your breath on BAM right now, but I mean, anything can happen. We could get legalization progress as well, and then everything just soars 10-20%. But unless the whole market's up 10-20%, BAM's probably going to be up around 5-10% like it was today. And then until the tier 1 names start to run out, where BAM usually runs when and BMMJ usually runs whenever everything starts to consolidate, I've noticed. Hopefully that helps. Gonna definitely wrap it up, go a little quicker here. Thank you for your videos. You're welcome, Steve. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. What's the play? Which pot stock? I do a video on exactly that. Top 5 MJ Holdings POW Group. So just go here, click on that, and I answer specifically that question. Also, High Tide I added to my long-term portfolio. Wasn't in that video. YouTube chat's acting really funny today. Time is at 2. I gotta wrap things up here pretty soon. Cool. Dinner plans here before the game, and yeah, they got some celebrations going on at the Rogers Center before the game tonight. So looking forward to the Oilers kicking butt. Knock on wood. All right, Canopy. Yeah, I don't like Canopy. I mean, it's probably going to go up, right? But like in terms of percentage gains, if it goes back to all-time high, that's only a 5x. Whereas like an SNDL, if just off its recent low here, if it goes back to its all-time high, that's 32x. Or like a Hexo, off of the lows all the way to its all-time highs, that's a 73x. So 1,000 into CGC just to get back to all-time highs would be worth about 5,000, and 1,000 into Hexo at the lows all the way to all-time highs would be worth about 73,000. So again, it's just like crypto, right? All of the higher risk, higher rewards, like we all know the meme craze, right? Dogecoin went from less than a tenth of a penny, or like a tenth of a penny, went up 600 and some X. So if you put $1,000 in a couple years, you'd have $500,000. Right? It's like, what? But that'll happen with MJ. We maybe not to that degree. Again, I think crypto is more valuable than MJ because it's the internet of money, the internet of value. What's more valuable, the internet of information or pot, or the internet of money? The whole world revolves around money. And let's just look at market cap of Amazon after all of these years, okay? Amazon market cap 1.67 trillion. Okay. And how Bitcoin's only been around for 13 years. What's the market cap? It was over $1 trillion, right? So Amazon been around since 1990s, and Bitcoin been around since 2009. Right? Already about the same in market cap. Right. So, and then collectively, the whole crypto market is worth 2 trillion, which was up almost to 3 trillion there at the peak. And yeah, it's worth more than the crypto industry. Bitcoin, or I can't remember, Ethereum. Ethereum, I think, is worth more than MasterCard and Visa, I think now. So again, it's way more valuable, right? So we're probably not going to see like 600x, but I think 10 to 100x on some of these names is going to be very doable. Like Tilray there at the low there at $4. Great entry. I've been screaming from the rooftop for how long? That's 61x, 62x. So $1,000 a couple weeks ago into Tilray just to get to all-time highs would be $60,000. Is that life-changing enough for you? Right? It's just don't worry about it. Like, watch that video. All this stuff makes way more sense after years of experience. There's no shortcutting it. Well, I guess you can join POW Group and I'll tell you everything, but and try to help you. But one thing I noticed is even when people sign up in my group and I mentor them and I teach them and I coach them, and I'll even hold your hand. Like most of the time I'll hold your hand, but people still go and do it their way, right? And then they come back and they say, okay, not working out. Can we do it your way now? And I was the same way, right? I thought I knew everything, and then I might busted and lost all my account, and now I'm pretty much never going to have to work another day in my life, even if as everything sits. Could care less if all my MJ goes to zero. Like I said, I have more crypto than I have MJ. I have real estate. I have cash in the bank. I have mutual funds. So many different avenues, right? So you just need to figure out your plan. What's your plan? Everybody has their own plan. It's not the right way or the wrong way. It's your way. Next week, legalization. God damn it. No. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Maybe see, like I said, an announcement into the end of the year. Maybe we see like the build up right now. It starts percolating, and then into November, we see actual plans for rollout, and then into 2023, late 2023, early 2024, we actually have the go live date like Canada did, and then into 2024, 2025, we start to see a bear market again. Okay, enough about you. What stock? All right. Remember that thing I shared? You're never too important to be nice to people? Never been more relevant. I'll just share it again with you. And your name is Peace. So, yeah, I think you better just watch your tone or you'll be banned from the channel because, yeah. You're supposed to be peaceful by your handle. You're never too important to be nice to people, so maybe you can just remember that next time you have a comment. Long price, right? Might be looking for a job soon. You can have price, yeah. Oh yeah. Goalie price, yeah. Makes sense. Thanks, POW Group. I'm a rookie to all this. Just getting into the game. Yeah, we all been there. TAA. I was as well. Like I said, I lost all my account. I was in a crypto exchange that went to zero. The owner died and didn't give the password or the backup to the crypto to anybody else. I had a Bitcoin and 2 Ethereum in there, which is now worth today about $100,000, and I lost it all. All right, so better to lose $10,000 starting out than $100,000. And now I learned my lesson, and I'm better equipped to manage 6 figures and 7 figures and beyond. Right. So it's all, I could easily quit crypto and never invested, but then my life wouldn't have changed, right? So super glad that I didn't capitulate and tap out, right? Get knocked down, but I got up again. All right, buy long. Yep. Shorts versus longs, title of the video. Man, so glad I accumulated like a caveman the past weeks. Yeah, you bet. Congratulations. Now I just need my XLM to pump. Yep. My biggest holdings, XRP, XLM, Litecoin, Link. Can you please list all of the pot stocks? Yeah, I think I just covered that question. I did a video, top 5 cannabis holdings, LPs and MSOs. Also add high tide to that list. I added that to my portfolio after I made that video. Holding 26,000 shares of Planet 13 and DCing 260. Love this company. I actually met Larry there and got to talk to him. That's awesome, SR. I was there, actually did a video on my Vegas trip. You can check that out as well on my channel. But went there. No offense to people in the US, but I can buy an ounce of MJ here for $57 with tax, and it's good stuff. $57 Canadian, so like $50 US. Planet 13 selling an ounce anywhere from $200 to $500 US, right? Which is like $700 Canadian. Like, that's insane, right? Like, I don't care if it's 30% versus 15 or 20%. I'll just smoke a little bit more of the 20%. I never really understood that. I mean, Planet 13's, I'm more talking about MSOs. I don't think it's sustainable, and I've been saying for a while now that their profit is starting to kind of top out a little bit, and that's evident in their sequential year, quarter-over-quarter growth. You can see they're starting to top out. They're only seeing between 5 and 10% quarter-over-quarter, where their year-over-year is still good, but their quarter-over-quarter is starting to show a little bit of momentum shift, and I think that's because of the fact that Canada went through the same thing. They were turned into an arm and a leg when they first came out. They're like, oh, that's not going to last long. And then people stopped going back to the black market, gray market, and now you can buy an ounce for $57 Canadian, tax included. Hard to compete with that. I bought a pack of Readies, a 10-pack of pre-rolls for $17 with tax. And there's 0.4 grams in that Readies pack for $17 with tax. That's insane. But Planet 13, the thing that they got going for them is they're targeting the tourism industry. No one's going there for a deal, right? Plus, there's like, it's still federally illegal. People will pay what they got to pay, right? But what happens when LPs enter? I guess it could be a while. But Planet 13, I think it's great. I love their business model, and I think it's great. I personally don't own any. I own it through the ETF MSOS. I'm more bullish on Canadian retail rate at the moment than I am US retail, but that could change over time. But I do like Planet 13 just because they are, more tourism based. So they're able to, their business is a little bit more sustainable than say like another MSO, right? That's not really just capitalizing on tourism. But Florida and Vegas, easily can grab some money from tourists there. This is one of my retirement plans. Enough, I don't even indulge in the products due to the nature of my work. I see future in a long term. Yeah, if you don't use it recreationally, 5 to 10 years, like check out CBG and CBD. They don't have any psychoactive effects, and they actually have a ton of benefits health-wise. I take it religiously. Any thoughts on Lightspeed, Rod? Yeah. Internet company? I was actually going to buy internet through them. It's funny you mentioned that, and then I canceled it and went with TELUS because TELUS gave me a much better deal. I get gigabit internet for $89 plus $150 credit, and they waived the installation fee. I was like, what, for gigabit internet? It was a 2-year contract, but I think that's who you're talking about, Claudio, but I'll have to wrap it up. I do have to get going, so maybe I'll do another live stream, or like I said, consider just checking out our I'm so busy these days. So many, especially when pot stocks start to. Most of my channels focus on pot stocks. So when pot stocks start to, I can't even imagine how many direct messages I have right now. But if you want to check out powgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com as well, Claudio. We have a 1-week free trial. That's where I spend most of my time. So I'll try to. If you don't want to sign up in the community, that's fine. I have no hard feelings or anything like that. It's completely on you. But I'll try and get another Q&A out soon where I'll just do some ticker requests. The 27 people watching will be very rich if we hold weed stocks until legalization. Yep, but most people won't. They'll sell, and then it'll just keep running, and they'll buy higher, or who knows. I'm just keeping it simple. I don't need the money. I've got tons of cash in the bank in case things do dip. I've got a short position on the S&P 500 that I'm building. I've got more crypto than I own MJ. I've got real estate. I've got mutual funds. Like my MJ's there until U.S. legalization. I have a short-term account as well where, I'll kind of do a little bit more swing trading, that type of thing when I see some opportune times and I have a little bit more time in my hands. But right now I'm traveling a lot and just enjoying everything getting back to some form of normalcy. And I don't want to be stuck behind a computer all the time. But love coming on here and chatting with you guys. I have a ball doing this. Let's just move on here. SNDL is running after hours from 75 to 90 after starting the day at 64. Yep. They own Value Buds now. Again, check out my high tide video. I talk about how I'm bullish on Canadian retail now, and SNDL actually just bought Value Buds, and Value Bud has record revenue. You can check that out. They actually, or Nova Cannabis, I guess, is the parent company of Value Buds. But yeah, check that out. All owned by Sundial now. Starting to get really bullish, and the good thing that High Tide and Value Buds have such low prices now, and MJ means that other retailers are going to have to do the same, or they're just going to be irrelevant. There was one. I was traveling across country in the summer, drove cross country, and one shop in Ontario was charging $13 for a little Victory drink, like one Hexo Molson Coors drink with 2 milligrams of THC and CBD. Okay, they're charging $13 plus 15% tax. I was like, are you insane? Like, I wouldn't give you $5 for that. I can buy it for $3 in Alberta right now. And I was. It was like daylight robbery, highway robbery, I guess, because I was pulling off the highway. But needless to say, I was like, oh, you can put that right back where you got it, because I don't want it. Not that I'm cheap, but just that's insane for 2 milligrams. What would it do? It wouldn't do anything. Just insane. But as volume starts to ramp up and all these retailers start to lower their prices, it's just going to be game theory, and they'll have no other choice but to adapt. I'm so pissed I sold ETH at 2,500 when I bought it at 800. I'm so pissed I sold ETH at 2,500 when I bought it at 800. That sounds like pretty good gains, though. Yeah, Mr. Sean. Yeah, that's. I mean, don't ever complain. I would say with gains, but yeah, when ETH was around $600, I was telling everybody to buy it about a year and a half ago, and then it like hit 5,000. But yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You can't play that game, or you'll miss the next opportunities coming your way. SNDL monthly uptrend confirmed. Weekly was confirmed. Are you sure the monthly? I don't think the monthly was. Monthly bounce is underway because of the weekly uptrend. Yeah, no, there's no... the monthly bounce... I think you just mean the monthly bounce is underway. No uptrend yet, though. We're in a monthly downtrend. Lower high, lower low, low. We never changed that monthly trend here off the low to the high. It was just straight off the off the low. So technically... And then we even had a monthly lower high and lower low. Lower high, lower low. So we're still in a monthly downtrend, actually. If we break resistance at 96 cents, we're no longer in a monthly downtrend, but we are getting close to that. But in order to confirm a monthly uptrend, in order to negate the monthly downtrend, we need to break resistance at 96. In order to confirm a monthly uptrend, we need to come down, form a higher low and a higher high. But yeah, I think you meant the monthly bounce is underway, which is correct. Oil plays, EGY, BRN, both are debt-free, which should go higher on the job and the debt with this company within. Yeah, I was calling out like for months that oil plays like SU and a bunch of companies are going to be great. But yeah, you're right. Oil plays. I'd be cautious though on the energy sector. It's run a little hot. Sympathy plays. Hardcore Hipple. Love it. How you doing? Just waiting on taxes to come in. Put some into Hexo while it's low and buying good companies. Yeah, you bet. A lot of people will be in the same boat probably. In Canada, I think taxes are due May 2nd this year because of how it falls or something on the business day or something like that. Or should I watch different lower end ones for now? Yeah, you don't want to FOMO in, right? Again, whenever nobody was talking about MJ for the past however long, and then now when it finally starts to run, people are interested in wanting to know when to buy, and that's not uncommon, right? That's just people get FOMO, right? I would just say don't FOMO, but it could also keep going, right? Because that's what happens when we get so beaten down. We were down 80-90% plus. Things like case in point, SNDL up almost 100% now, if not already 100% in a week. And yeah, that's because people FOMO. But I would just say don't FOMO. Well, first I would say buy fear and dollar cost average in highly speculative markets if you're looking to invest for the long term. Not financial advice, of course. But if you're looking for an entry now, I'd wait. If you're like for example on Hexo or SNDL, I'd wait for a daily high or low or a weekly high or low, as we know we need to change the trend. Yeah, hourly oversold should be good entries as well on a lot of our names. Busting a trading account is a must in order to become profitable. Yeah, I'm a pretty good day trader. I just don't enjoy it. I give a lot of different setups that I see that I'm looking at, and I know a lot of people in our group take some of the trade ideas that I throw their way and stuff. But personally, I'm traveling so much. I'm dealing with the group and dealing with private members and doing videos all the time. It's hard for me to do the day trading. And yeah, my strategy is simple. like thinking back to crypto, if I would have been day trading this whole time, my stress levels would have been so much higher. I would have had no life, no friends. My girlfriend would have hated me, you know. And then I probably would have ended up with less money than if I would have just bought 2 years ago and held, right, in the bear market and held. Case in point, Dogecoin up like 200 or 400x or something like that in a year, like something insane. $1,000 investment into $500,000 or like $250,000 in a year. Wow, right? Who cares about day trading at that point? But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a must. I would say a must is start with paper trading, and then maybe bust your paper trading account. But as we know, it's never the same as real money. Maddie has now entered the chat. Hey, Maddie, welcome. How to get access to your Discord? I don't have Discord. I absolutely despise it. No offense, Discord, but we use Slack. But yeah, just go to powgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com, and you can sign up there, or 1 week free trial, or $10 a month, $9.99 a month, or $100 a year if you're interested. Matthews is better. Yeah, Matthews is pretty awesome. I wouldn't say he's better than Connor though. $100 to $150, to be honest, don't lie. That's just maybe. No, I'm actually not lying. I'm not lying at all. I can Ogen. Look up Ogen. I guarantee you they got just as nice buds as any of the ones at the U.S. I was just in Florida for 2 months, and believe me, the weed down there it's good, but like, I couldn't wait to get back to Canada. I was just in Vegas. I was just in Colorado. All in the last year. I spent 2 months in Florida. I was in Colorado, and I was in Vegas twice, actually, in the last 6 months. Vegas twice, Colorado, and Florida for 2 months. I know all about U.S. weed. I've been consuming weed for over 10 years. And yeah, I'm not lying. If you want to call me a liar, I don't appreciate that. But yeah, no, I'm not lying, Mr. Sean. So and end it there. U.S. weed is way too expensive. Yeah. Well, so is like people are. It was the same in Canada. Weed was expensive here too until they realized this isn't sustainable. I could have told them that. I think I could get a 5-year-old to explain that to somebody anybody can grow MJ. It's about making it into something special, like Coca-Cola did with sugar, right? Anybody can package sugar and water, but Coca-Cola did it in a way that it was special, right? They took the commodity and they made it into something special. So weed's a commodity. We just got to make it into something special. Black cherry red. Yeah, Reddies. Yeah, those black cherries were awesome. $17. You get the Shishka berry Reddies for $10. I think they're only like 12% THC, but I mean, you got to remember, not everybody wants 30% THC, right? Some people are new to smoking, or some people haven't smoked in like half a year or a year. They don't want to go right into the deep end, right? They want to go with the Shishka berry for $10. 0.4 grams of 12% THC pre-rolls for $10. Canadian. $7.50 American. Let that sit in, and it's not bad stuff. And if you want to spend $17, you're looking at 20% plus THC. So don't tell me it's not good weed. It is. There's a lot of craft weed. You can get Craft Grower. Look up Canara Biotech. They have great stuff, probably better than most of the stuff you'll see in the U.S., and it's in Canada. It's based out of Quebec. Just look up the reviews. They have the best of the best, and you can get a quarter for like $40 or $50, I think. It's only going to drop. Reddies taste great. They're amazing. They're the best product ever, in my opinion. I really enjoy your videos. It was as if we were at a bar having a beer. Yeah, you bet. Well, I was going to buy a Mola before the stream, but High Tide Cabana is just like 2 minutes away, but I got to get out of here. I got to go meet my girlfriend for dinner, and then the puck drops here in a couple hours. So looking forward to the Oilers game. But really enjoy having you on here, Jelly Bean. I appreciate all the support and the interactions with all of you. If you're still watching after an hour and a half, you're an absolute boss. Make sure to smash like if you don't mind. Would appreciate that. Subscribe, you'll be notified on any future videos. What's going on with cannabis today? I'm so confused. I assume you must have just joined us, Jam Loki. But if you want to rewatch, I know it's pretty long. I would encourage you to do 2x speed. But essentially, there was news about a bill passed through the House and the Senate on the same day that it was introduced. New York or New Jersey had a stalling, could be delayed in terms of rec sales, so that hurt US MJ into the end of the day there. And also just short squeezes. We've got risk on assets going crazy. So it's just short squeeze. MJ was right for a short squeeze. We also have legalization efforts ramping up. We had the Columbia Care Cresco deal. We had Aurora and Thrive. We had earnings come out from Columbia Care, Cresco, all the tier ones as well. So lots on the horizon, and a lot of people anticipating more bills dropping. Chuck Schumer introducing his bill in the Senate, which he is the Senate head of the Senate, and the Democrats now control majority of the Senate. I think he needs 60 votes. Hopefully that confuses you less. If it still doesn't help, I would just encourage going back and watching the video. I go all over it. What are your thoughts on the market tomorrow? Do you think people will sell Friday, not risking the legalization does not pass, or do you think they will wait until Monday's news? Well, I was anticipating likely a gap up into tomorrow. I would say my money's on a gap up or just tightening ranges, right? Based on the move that we had in the stocks today, it's likely going to be a daily inside bar on a lot of our names. If we do see a gap up, it's probably going to result in a gap up is for selling, and we see likely a pullback after the bell rings, and then we form that we go back into that yesterday's range based on how high it is. But I would say most likely scenario we see a gap up and daily inside bars for the most part across the sector and tightening ranges just based on how much we've moved. But again, when things are down this much, they can explode, right? Like, this is the time where, you don't want to be, don't sell too soon, right? It's just as important as knowing when to sell as when to buy. And what usually happens is people end up buying a lot near the end of a bull cycle, and then they sell the bottom or near the bottom because they panic and get capitulated, and then they end up buying again higher in a bull market, and they lose the interest and the markets aren't for them. What you want to do is you want to be building a watch list when things are exploding. And then when it enters a bear market like MJ is now, you want to be buy if you're looking at the long term. Again, there's multiple strategies. This is just the most lucrative and my strategy. And then I have multiple MSOs. I don't just buy. A lot of people I see that are emotional about one stock, I ask them this simple question. I say, how many other pot stocks do you own? And they say, oh, that's my only one. And I'm like, well, that's why you're so upset. It's like if you owned a few other pot stocks, you'd realize that they're all down 80 to 90% or 70%. And it's also less hard on the head, right? You can diversify a little bit. Again, you don't want to over diversify. If you've got $1,000 to invest, maybe only a few companies. If you've got 10,000, maybe 5 to 10 companies. If you've got 100,000, maybe you're looking at 10 to 20 different companies. And then a mix of MSOs, mix of different LPs, mix of retailers, ETFs, right? Again, develop a plan. I'll even help you guys develop a plan. Just go to powergroup.ca, Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll take the conversation further. But I think that's the most likely scenario. Just knowing when to sell, right? And then what happens is people usually sell too soon, right? We're nearing a bottom of a bear market. What does that mean? That means we're likely going to see, if we just seen a multiple year bear market, what's likely going to happen? A multi-year bull market, right? So what happens is when the curve starts happening, that's when people are like, okay, I'm buying again. But a lot of people don't realize, and then they might even FOMO in, and then it stops and it temporarily comes back down, forms that weekly higher low like I was talking about. They get shaken out again, and then the real weekly trend change just comes up, and the monthly trend changes, whoops. And but yeah, what most people do is they buy here, and then they sell here, and then they fail to realize that we're entering a multi-year bull market, and then it just keeps going up and up and up, and everything's at all-time highs and new price discoveries, and people are like, oh, I sold way too soon. But again, if you're buying near the top, that's when you want to be selling soon, right? You don't want to be selling. You don't want to be holding for the long term when things are at 52-week highs. You want to be. But what I'm seeing now is a lot of people have that exact opposite mentality. They're like, I'm going to sell like pretty soon. But I'm like, but haven't you been holding for like the last 2 years? Like, yeah, but I learned my lesson. I'm not going to hold for another 80, 90% drop. And it's like, yeah, but you had it all backwards. You should have been selling last year into February 2021 highs, and then you should have been buying the dip over the last year, and now you should be prepared to hold for at least 1 to 2 years, in my opinion. That's just how I am. But if you're a day trader, that's different too, right? But I think for the most people are talking about they're investors, right? They're talking about, I'm going to sell soon because I learned my lesson. That's when you get in trouble, right? So again, profit's profit. If you're in it just for a few $100s or to help pay some bills, I'm not in MJ to pay my bills. I don't have any problems paying my bills or doing the things that I want to do, traveling wherever I want to go. I don't look at my bank account to permit me to travel. So MJ is, I don't look at it. I do not care. It's a long-term investment, and I'll wait until it's life-changing. It's worth, say, 6 figures today. I'll probably hold it till it's worth 7 figures. Or same with crypto. I've invested 5 figures, lost it all. Then I started with 4 figures about 4 years ago. After I lost it, when I first started, I invested about 10 figures and I lost it all. And then I started with 1,000. I started day trading, made it back up to about 5,000, and then I put another 5,000 in. And then we saw this huge run, and then that 10,000 turned into 6 figures. And now I'm going to be looking to sell most of my crypto. Again, I own more crypto than I do MJ currently, and I'm going to be looking to take that money. I'll sell 80 to 90% of my crypto. I'll hold 10 to 20% for the long term, in case things do really go crazy. And then I'll rotate 80 to 90% of those profits into beating down MJ and short the S&P 500, which means I'm betting the S&P 500 is going to go down. And I'll do it all over again. Once MJ tops out, then I'll go back and rinse, repeat, right? Just like a market maker does. Think like a whale, not a fish, right? If you think like a fish, you're going to get eaten alive in this market because it's full of whales. Quick recap. Yeah, Andrew, it's pretty hard. Basically, in terms of technicals, we need weekly uptrends to confirm. We know bulls still have absolutely proved nothing until weekly uptrends. SNDL confirmed a weekly uptrend, so we need to see the rest of the sector. Hexo confirmed a weekly uptrend. So those are the 2 lead bulls right now in terms of the weekly trends. But MSOS, the ETF, simple recap, just watch MSOS and HMMJ ETFs. Once they confirm weekly uptrends, we can expect the whole sector to really start to reverse. But lots covered in this. If you're skipping this video, you probably don't deserve the gains long term. No offense to anybody, but if you're not willing to put in the time and the effort, like I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of practice and research and investing and trading and researching MJ, researching crypto, like easily 10,000 hours into each of those, right? There's no shortcut to success. It's called the pursuit of wealth. It's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. You might get lucky, but that's less than 1% of people here. So I would encourage, go to 2x speed, watch the whole thing over again, and I'll shut up here soon. And the quicker I shut up, the less time you'll have to spend on 2x speed. Yeah, I just joined. Sorry, no worries. Rod, calm, cool, collected. Love it. You bet. Only way to be. Jolly Bean, thanks for the fantastic vid and have a good one. Have a good game. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll send some pictures on my social feeds later. You can subscribe. Thanks for the recap. You're welcome. Gamma or short squeeze? Yeah, it's anyone's guess at this point. Just got tuned in. I don't know if it has been asked yet. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I don't focus too much on that. Like I said, I'm not looking to sell any MJ at the moment. I don't really get too caught up in the details. I just know that we knew to be looking for MJ to start a reversal into April. Just go back to my videos that I've been doing on MJ for the last several months. I said watch for a potential run up into April, into May, and yeah, now we're getting exactly what I expected. Not that I have a crystal ball. It's just learning how to read charts. Again, I've thousands and thousands of hours into reading charts, into fundamental analysis, into just market cycles and psychology and investors and emotional psychology and construct. And again, if you're like, wow, this is also so much to comprehend, there's a link right down below, pursuitofwealthgroup.com, palgroup.ca. We've got hundreds of, 50 to 100 different traders in there that you can bounce ideas off of before you hit the buy or sell. Before you hit that buy or sell button. We can collaborate on strategies. Again, it's not financial advice. You're 100% responsible for all the trades. This is for entertainment purposes only, but we can kind of give you what we would do in your shoes, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. Awesome content. I always stop here for the latest info. #respect. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, my friend. Really appreciate the support. Not a single hater in here yet, or a troll either. That's got to be a first. They all go to sleep. They all hibernate. The bears and shorts hibernate whenever things go up, right? You're gonna blow up with MJ in a good way. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. Yeah. Oh, you mean like me specifically? Yeah. Who knows? That's not the goal, but I'll take it. I'm just here to spread the word, so to speak, and just learn what I've learned. And one thing I've noticed about the financial markets is it's such a cutthroat game, and no one cares about the retail investor. They are the last. If you think about a bankruptcy, who gets bailed out first? The banks, the accredited investors, and then the investors, if they get anything, right? Never does the retail investor, get any kind of preferential treatment, or you know what I mean? It's just like, it's such a cutthroat game. And the media, the way they frame things and position things and outright lie to the public should be illegal. And I think it's getting there. I think we're finally, well, we have the internet now, right? And we have YouTube and things like that where we can say, basically, when CNBC tells us to sell something, you should be buying, and when they tell you to buy something, you should be selling. Like, that's as simple as it is. Not always the case, but more often than not, right? But again, knowing how to critical think and having the experience and knowing how to do it yourself without having to rely on a mainstream media website or even me or YouTube, that is the world of difference, right? And it doesn't happen overnight. It's the pursuit of wealth. It's a journey, right? Unsolicited advice from someone who really appreciates these videos. If you get someone soft furniture in that condo, your audio, yeah, you're right, John. I listened to my recap, my last video, and I was like, whoa, mad echo. Still moving in. I'm working on it. I'm still undecided if I want to buy another condo and rent this one out. So I don't want to fill it full of too much furniture right yet. But yeah, I'm just in between. I was in East Coast for a while visiting my family. I was in Florida for 2 months. I bought the condo in November. I went to PEI for a month for Christmas, and then I went to Florida for 2 months, and then I was in Vegas, and I'm just getting my internet installed tomorrow or Saturday. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm working on it. Thanks for the feedback, though, John. How about MJUS? Thank you. Stu, it looks like you're joining us low. It's pretty much the same, though. Just looking for weekly uptrends. We need to see MSOS and HMMJ, the ETFs, confirm weekly uptrends. We're closing in on 2 hours, and I do have to run. Yeah, we're just looking for macro level reversals. I'll do another video soon and another live stream. We'll do a little bit more Q&A, and maybe I'll do a ticker request. This was more of a Q&A with regards to MJ and why we were exploding and that type of thing, and just high level. But I'll do another ticker request video here shortly, maybe as early as tomorrow or into the weekend. Nice choices to have. Yeah, you bet, John. Well, again, it's a journey, right? It doesn't happen overnight. I just turned 32 last week, and yeah, Freedom 30 feels pretty good. I mean, I still work all the time, but I work because I want to, not because I have to, and I enjoy it, and I absolutely love coming on here and with you guys, and I'm able to benefit my family a lot more, right, as well. So it's again, you're never too important to be nice to people. You're never too rich to be nice to people, and you're never too rich to consider yourself better than anybody else either. Being rich isn't a good or bad thing. It's just, it gives you more options in life, and it's not all about money. It's about health as well, right? We need to look after ourselves, make sure we're not eating fast food all the time, make sure we're getting up, going for walks, and not looking at the price every 5 seconds. It's more about physical health as well as mental health, financial health. It's like the analogy I always give. When you're on an airplane, they tell you to secure your own mask before you help anybody else, right? How can you help somebody else if you haven't helped yourself? So again, financially secure your own mask before you can help others do the same. And karma will be sure to reward you handsomely. Thank you. Thank you, Jelly Bean. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, John. Stu. Let's go through the list here. Chris. Jelly Bean, I already think I said that. Jam. Who else do we got on the line here? Hardcore. We've got Meparatus. Not sure I'm saying that correctly, but welcome. Thanks for joining us today, Connor. Mr. Sean. We got Matthew in the house. Who else we got? Michael. We've got Claudio. Can't forget Claudio. He's on every stream. SR. Michael. We've got Pop Psy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that one either correctly, but welcome. TAA. Peace. We've got Steve. We've got Enver. Hardik. Yeah, I think that's it. Conrad and Eek. All right, going to end it there, guys. We've got still 30 people watching after almost 2 hours, so you are an absolute boss. And if you want to be an even bigger boss, if you could smash the like, get this video to as many people as possible. Like I said, I know it's on almost 2 hours, and these live streams, when I do these Q&As and things like that, they end up going so long, and a lot of people complain that they're just too long. But if you do know anybody that would benefit from the live stream, maybe recommend they put it on 2x speed, and then if there's something that they want to slow down on, then they can do that. But going to end it there, thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It is Rod, and I appreciate every single one of you. As always, smash the like, and we'll see you on the next video.